All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Tipple's Brews and Wines virtual wine tasting on Tuesdays with Elizabeth and Jeff Beaudry. This week, we are going to be drinking the Bootleg red blend from Napa Valley.
I'm excited.
It's actually got a little bit of, with the Bootleg, you got a little bit of a lawlessness going on, right? There's actually some of this comes from a really high-end area in Sonoma as well.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So if you would, go ahead and pull it up.
All right.
All right, so the Bootleg red blend Napa Valley ratings not shy, right? Venice 93, Jeff Dunnick 91. Food pairings, you're gonna need something robust with this. All right, guys and gals. Ribeye roast with chimichurri, wagyu sliders, miso glazed tofu with wild mushrooms. It could all work.
Yeah, sounds good.
The label looks cool, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Would you like
So,
me to move on?
Now is that time.
Okay, stop.
Go ahead and stop sharing.
All right.
You pour yourself a glass if you have not already, and if you haven't, I don't know why, because it's delicious and you should get in on this. So. All right. Right. All right, so this is 73% Cabernet Sauvignon and 27% Merlot.
Oh, okay.
All right. So Cab Merlot, a classic Bordeaux blend, Bordeaux France. Alcohol content 14.9.
Oh, that's nice.
So big. Age worthy.
Yeah, because okay, so I can feel the tannins.
Right.
14.9%. Tell us about the age worthiness.
Yeah. So 10 plus years, right?
Yeah.
So it's ready for now.
Okay.
It doesn't have a ton of extra acid, but it doesn't taste dried, right? It doesn't taste like dried fruits, right?
No.
So I wouldn't say that the acid is on the favorable, but it's certainly not a detractor. So you've got big tannins, you got quality fruit, you have high alcohol. This one can hang out.
Okay.
Yeah, right. But at the same time, I mean, we've had it open I did pop it open. It's been breathing for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
But it's enjoyable right away.
Right away.
Yeah. Got a nice chocolatey note on here, which I won't go into all the flavors. I'm just doing this because of the barrel assessment to me, and it wasn't mentioned. This is more American oak.
Okay.
Right. As we drink it, you'll get more and more vanilla popping out of here. And I believe they needed that more aggressive oak to help tame the tannins from these very big grapes. So
I love this. Okay. So I think this is Rachel. I like the spice and peppers on the finish.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah. So I would say combination, because there is nice spice. American oak, which we will see more of. I think what we're exhibiting right now, I think there's got to be some French oak on these guys too. So French oak tends to bring out more baking spice. American oak tends to be more vanilla.
Okay, and then we get like pepperiness from French oak too, right? Or am I wrong about that? Am I misremembering that?
No, you can get that from there.
Okay.
And the pepperiness can come largely from the grapes, I would think, on this one. Though not so much the Merlot, but Cab can have it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Next.
Yes, please.
Slide. Okay.
And then we'll jump back.
Okay.
So we're going to try something, right?
Okay.
I could not embed this video.
All right.
But it's Bootleg wine. There's a Bootleg short.
Okay.
It's going to take us out to YouTube and we'll have to come back.
Okay.
All right.
All right. But we're still screen sharing, so.
Peter, why'd you want me to get us into this prison?
Because, Joe, everyone knows that all prisoners make bootleg wine in their toilets. We are gonna get so wasted. Oh, look, right here. This one's full of Chardonnay.
Peter, I don't think that's...
But it was Chardonnay. The best Chardonnay I ever had in my life. The man who made it, Curtis the Murder Dog Williams, went on to become one of America's most celebrated drinkers.
Hey, Joe here. Peter's lying. He drank pee-pee. Get us into this prison.
I don't know. This came up while I was doing a search to see what videos could be applicable, and I couldn't resist because I love Family Guy.
Full of Chardonnay.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay,
Anyway, go ahead and stop the sharing.
I did stop the share, but it just
Thanks.
hopped. There we go.
Okay. All right. All right, so on this guy, now that we, have played around a little bit, we talked about that. Before we get to the label, let's talk about what we're smelling, what we're tasting real quick. And if it, if it measures up to Peter's prison toilet show. I do agree. I love the spiciness on this one.
Mhm.
Which generally, we're talking about Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot,
Mhm.
right? So this has got to be mostly coming from a combination of the Cabernet Sauvignon and the barrels.
Okay.
Merlot is more about plums
Mhm.
and chocolate.
Okay.
And then both of them can cross over at lavender,
Okay.
right?
All right.
So, hey, Bruce, welcome.
And then I think it's Rachel again, but okay,
Mm.
that it's bold and she likes
What's
that.
going on, everybody? We already started. I'm sorry, I lost my ticket. I had to call in.
It's all good. Everything is still ahead of us.
Welcome whenever you come in.
That's right.
Yep.
All right, so where are we at? Do we already crack the bottles?
Yeah, we already did. Pour yourself a glass, Bruce, and we're right now we're talking about what we're smelling and tasting.
All right.
So.
And I see people eating with it too, we want to mention what pairings you have with it this evening.
Right, because I think John did something that was right off the menu of what I suggested.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what did you all do? Oh, I think Laura's typing.
I bought I got like smoked Gouda, some type of weird stuff inside of there, just like what is that? Like the salami and stuff you can just buy from.
Yeah, it looks like prosciutto and some really good.
Yeah. There you go.
That should be good, Bruce.
Yeah. Then I got some chocolate, and Halo
yes.
Donuts started selling cookies now. I don't know if y'all know what Halo Donuts are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now they're selling cookies. So I took my
tonight,
daughter over there and I just cut a couple up and I'll eat that with it too. Why not?
Oh, that
Nice.
sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I like the combination from savory all the way to sweet because this will cover that.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Linda says she's getting like a licorice flavor.
Licorice, all right. So anise, right? Star anise.
Mhm.
That's the thing. It's like licorice, and then you get to be like, oh, did you mean star anise? Yeah, licorice. You're on it. Right.
That's licorice.
That's right. It's licorice.
Well,
Yeah, I see
then
everybody
you
got
said,
their mics
John,
muted. Am I supposed to be muted?
Oh,
you
you can talk. No, you feel free to talk whenever you want to.
conversations,
Yeah.
yeah.
You'll know. We'll have presentation slides up when we're doing our thing. So
Mhm. But we like the interaction.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I can definitely smell the licorice in here. Whoever said that was in there, that's it.
Yeah, that's Linda. Mhm.
Right. Hmm.
And then I know you said John did something
Oh,
right off the menu.
wasn't John doing a chimichurri?
Yeah, John did a flank steak with chimichurri.
Nice.
But the chimichurri was so good, the garlic has kind of killed some of our taste buds.
Oh,
Oh.
Actually, it still tastes fabulous. We just can't pick out any flavor. So, really bouncing well off the garlic, but
Thank God it's such a big wine to put up with that big chimichurri.
It was a good pairing.
Nice, awesome. All right.
ready for
So
sure?
actually, I'm going to talk about a little bit about what I'm doing. So we did
Okay.
black cherry, anise,
Mhm.
a little bit of vanilla. We'll get more vanilla as the wine opens. So by
Okay.
the end of this tasting, you guys will get more of that than now. Toasted oak, I think we can all agree we're getting that. Dark fruit, cedar, and chocolat, right?
Mhm.
And that's why it's going to pair so nicely with some chocolate as well. Really nice tannins. This guy can bow up and hang out with everything from from chimichurri steak
Mhm.
all the way through cookies. Right? So-
Yeah.
and so that's the thing, I like this one. It really can play, you can drink it alone.
Mhm.
It's big, but you can drink it alone. Americans like big wines.
Oh, no, I can definitely drink this alone. This
Right.
is, in fact, as soon as this is over, I think we should all text Julie and tell her what she missed out on, because this is right up. her
Oh, this
alley.
is totally
Yeah.
a Julie Linda wine. And we're neither one of us.
Individually
Right.
and tell her, oh, here we go.
Oh, Julie's gonna be in. So therefore it's just Linda
It's
who's
just,
missing
uh,
out. That's
Linda
right.
Kai has to get text, so
That's
that.
right. What's up, buddy? Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian, are you going by Julie now?
Hello. Yeah, Julie will be here in like 10 minutes.
Right. So, all right.
Wait, hold on. Is she there though? Because this is her wine. Like, she will love this.
She will be here in like 10 minutes. She went to pick up
Awesome.
Lily
Okay.
up the road.
Okay.
All right. So she will get to
She
have
will
it,
still
which is
get to
great.
partake.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
All right. So we covered that. Let's jump back in. We'll cover the wine label.
All right, sounds good. Oh, yeah, this is a cool label, so
It is a very cool label.
I'm
Right.
interested to hear the story
So-
of this.
This next slide is where we talk about if you walk into a different wine store, not Tipple's, and you're
Mhm.
getting no help,
Mhm.
what could you pick up from the wine label? Right. And I will tell you what all this means later, because I will act as an educated wine seller. But
Right.
if you just walked up and you walk along, you'd be like, all right, that's cool. And it says the word bootleg,
Mhm.
but it tells me nothing else.
Right.
Right. So the front label in the end
Mhm.
is gorgeous, but not very helpful in discerning what is in the bottle.
Well, and sometimes we have lower quality wines that have really cool labels.
Right.
And that's the coolest thing about them.
Good point. Yes, very good point. So that does leave you in that lurch. We're like, okay, does this just look good? Right. So then you flip it to the back. Bootleg red wine. So okay, it's a red blend. Napa County. 2017, vinted and bottled by. So the wine was made.
Mhm.
If it says vinted, it
Mhm.
was made by these men and women.
Okay.
Right. And bottled by
Mhm.
them. But you don't see the word estate. You don't see the word grown, right? So they're
they
buying the
purchase
grapes, which is fine. That
Mhm.
there's no problem with that, but it's just a point of information, right?
Okay.
So some people purchase grapes and make amazing wine. Some people purchase grapes and make terrible wine.
Hmm.
So it's just one of those, neither here is, it's not a plus or a minus.
Mhm.
The vinted by is a plus.
Okay.
But it doesn't give you a lot more than that, right?
Mhm.
You've got after that, the ABV. So honestly, if you're looking at this, which you would be, and you're saying this is not a cheap bottle of wine,
Right.
you probably want a little more information
Mhm.
on it. And so that would be optimally, you're dealing with a restaurant or a small independent retailer where people care about their wines to explain to you why it's worth it.
Okay.
Because other than that, it's not helping you that much.
Sure.
But it is certainly
It's very cool.
striking, right?
Yes.
It's really cool. So I don't know if I want to tell you now or later, because we'll get into when we get to the winemaker, what that X-ray
Okay.
label means.
So for right now, we're just looking at it. It's an X-ray of a suitcase with a bottle and a corkscrew.
Right. Some
Looks like
sticks.
clippers and sticks.
Right,
Okay.
right.
All right.
I think we'll cover it at the end. when we
Okay.
Go into the winery.
All right.
I think
sounds
one of the
good.
things that kind of stuck out to me on this bottle is that there's no seal on top.
Mm,
So actually, when I got it and I brought it home, I put it out and I was doing whatever, put it over there, and I looked, I was like, wait a second, did I get like a bad bottle or something like that?
oh, right.
And then I actually looked it up online and none of them had it on there. But I was thinking, I was like, I wonder if they did it because it's called bootleg. And it was just like, if it's bootleg, what I mean, you're not going to sell it or whatever, you're just going to package it and go. So maybe it's kind of a marketing thing.
Yeah, no, Bruce, you're totally right. That is actually,
That's
that's
really good
exactly why they
observation.
did it. Good call. So they left, it's called the capsule.
Mhm.
So that foil that's normally on top doesn't have to be, it really doesn't do much,
Okay.
but traditionally it is there
Mhm.
and they left it off on purpose because of the name bootleg.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
is. a
So
marketing thing.
it's just like what Bruce was
Mhm.
going. So.
Awesome. Next.
Yes. All right, so this is a Bordeaux blend. And so we've talked about this in the past, but it's worth covering again. What does Bordeaux blend mean? Traditional blend of grapes from Bordeaux, France, which was the kind of the origin of very high-end red wine for the world. And so generally it's Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Petit Bordeaux, Malbec, and Cabernet Franc. But this week, we're just dealing with Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot, which are the top two grapes for Bordeaux. So Bordeaux's in the southwest of France. And actually there is, if I could see the
Sorry.
things, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. All of them are black skinned, white fleshed. And Cab Franc is the parent grape for both Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what they all kind of come together. And
Mhm.
I have a slide, my favorite slide, the Mac Daddy Cab Franc. So the mother grape for Merlot is the same as Malbec. In this case, we just have Merlot affected by it, right? So, but they're all related grapes. They all look the same pretty
Yeah,
much,
pretty
right?
much the same.
That's one of the reasons I was saying, you know what? Red wine grapes kind of look like red wine grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just, I mean, as I look at them, some like the Merlot looks like a shorter bunch, than like the Cab Sauv. But is that just that bunch?
This is just that bunch, right? Exactly. Like nobody's looking at that laying on a table and saying, "Oh, I know what that."
Okay, no, they have to pick it up and eat it and smell it and,
Right.
okay,
Mhm.
all right.
So within Bordeaux,
Mhm.
because we're discussing the term Bordeaux blend, right? I figure it's worth going into. There's right bank and left bank Bordeaux.
Mhm.
This would be more of a left bank Bordeaux because that would be Cabernet dominant.
Okay.
So Cabernet and then Merlot,
Mhm.
right bank.
Okay,
Merlot and then Cabernet, right bank.
you just said right bank, right
Oh, I'm
bank.
sorry.
Cabernet, then Merlot, left bank.
Left bank. Merlot, then Cabernet, right bank.
Okay,
All right.
Yeah.
And so there's a river running through it. When we do,
Oh,
and
that's what I'm talking about.
we'll do another Bordeaux tasting.
Mhm.
You'll see exactly where they line up. In there.
Okay.
But anyway, they kind of break them up. So there's Bordeaux blends, which generally is dominated by Cabernet and Merlot.
Mhm.
Then you have Malbec and Petit Bordeaux and Cab Franc, right?
Okay,
That's the main thing to pull out of this. If you want to go like next level on
Mhm.
pulling things out of here, there's left bank, which is Cabernet dominant, and there's right bank, which is Merlot dominant.
is that because of the different terroir that it splits that way, or is it just tradition?
It is actually because of practical applications of the different terroir,
Mhm.
so the different soil
Okay,
and slightly different temperatures,
okay,
Right.
so this is not like left and right Twix, which are exactly the same.
which are exactly the same.
Mhm.
Now, this is changing, which is so much fun, right? This is changing because of climate change,
Okay.
and left bank is
Mhm.
now growing a lot more Merlot than it used
So
to.
we're going to see this graph change.
Right. So if educationally,
Mhm,
traditionally,
mhm.
you should learn this,
Okay.
right? But it is changing.
All right.
So much fun. Effectively,
Yeah.
it's changing.
Cool.
So anyway, okay. Bordeaux blends. Bordeaux.
Wait, hold on, I just want to catch up with the chat.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm looking like the Drake's comment, Tasha. Here we go. I mean,
So
I
I'd
can even
have to
fix with this.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
that's right. So Bordeaux blends, black currant, black cherry, graphite.
Mhm.
All right, so we get like a mineral component in there, chocolate and dried herbs. So a lot of what we were talking about, it can run along that gambit.
The veil, I'm getting more graphite now. As
Now that
it's
it's opening up, I agree.
Yeah.
It needed to take a breath. It was much more about fruit and spice early,
Mhm.
and it really kind of grounds itself over time, which to me speaks of good quality juice. So
Yeah.
going up to 15% ABV, which here we are, right at pushing that level. Medium acidity, I would say medium as generous, it's not medium minus, because it's not fruit over tart. It's still a nice ripe fresh fruit. Tannins, absolutely high tannin, big body, absolutely high body. Dry, it is dry. This is not a sweet wine,
Definitely not. Next.
please. Yep. All right. So
This is.
Cabernet Franc, the Mac Daddy slide, right? Cabernet Franc is awesome. So it's made so many different grapes that we enjoy. But for tonight, Cabernet Franc plus Sauvignon Blanc, a white grape, made Cabernet Sauvignon a more intense red grape than Cab Franc. In this case, also Cabernet Franc plus Magdeleine Noir de Charente.
Sure.
You're right. Let's go for it. Became Merlot. So Cabernet Franc is the father grape
Mhm.
of both Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon. So they are related. They are cousins.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting to me, which I'm gonna go on a complete different tangent, but that Cab Franc, where you've got this red grape, Sauvignon Blanc, white grape, and then they make this much more intense red grape. It's kind of like a liger. You
Oh,
know,
right.
a lion and a tiger make a larger big cat than either one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. But Liger, and then the other version is smaller, right?
I don't know. I think so. I
Yeah.
think you're
Anyway,
right.
So this graphic, so the way you have this kind of set up, so is this saying that every grape came from Cab Franc?
Not every grape, but a lot of basically,
All the grapes on the bottom level came from Cab Franc.
right.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
many of the grapes that we're drinking in the world that are popular today did come from Cab Franc,
Okay.
but not all of them. But
So,
many-
so the top 5 are their own grapes, then combined came down to the bottom.
Right.
exactly.
Yeah. So Cab Franc combines with each of the two on either side of it.
Yeah.
To then make the 4 at the bottom.
Right.
Mhm.
So because so you have very popular grapes today. Cabernet Sauvignon, the most popular in the world. Carmenere, Merlot, Malbec, and Cab Franc are all very popular grapes, and they're all related. So that's the fun of this.
How is Malbec related?
So Malbec is, hold on, I just had it in here.
Because it's not on this slide.
Right, it's wait,
We will come back.
we'll come back to it. Hold on. Got a lot of things I'm talking about tonight.
Oh, look at the chat. Yeah, no, I love this chart. Mhm.
Yeah, so anyway, all right.
We'll get back.
No, Malbec may be a separate thing, so.
Okay.
Which is.
So Merlot,
fine.
there, Cab
Right.
Sauv,
Yeah,
all cousins.
yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then Malbec gets blended in with. the
It gets
Bordeaux
blended in
Franc.
because it's the same area. That's,
Yeah,
yeah, it's from the same area.
it's from that Bordeaux area.
Right, exactly.
Ready?
Yes. All right, so
So show us where we are.
where this is the origin
Mhm.
of these grapes. All right, so we're doing Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot both come from Bordeaux.
Okay,
So that was the point of this slide.
yeah. And you said left is more Cab dominant and right is.
Right, yeah, here,
Merlot
yeah,
dominant.
here it is, more Cab dominant
Mhm.
and more Merlot dominant, right? Grape skin. So we're dealing with very intense dark grape skins, less intense on the intermediate zone deep in there. So
Mhm.
they will ripen and reduce their acidity. Things like Pinot Noir
Mhm.
and white grapes tend to keep their acidity much more.
Okay,
So, and if you grow these poorly, if you get rid of all the acid, then you have no balance and you just get a fruit bunch. It's just
Okay.
not fun.
okay.
Yeah.
So if you grow it poorly, meaning you harvest it too soon or?
If you harvest it too soon, you're going to just have tart and no real flavor.
Okay,
It just tastes like tart cherry juice or cranberry.
okay,
If you harvest it too late, then you get just a bunch of berries
okay,
and no freshness whatsoever. It'll taste like grape juice.
okay.
Yeah.
And this is the Cab Sauv grape that you're talking about, or?
This is both of these.
Both
Yeah,
that and
yeah. So
Merlot.
it really runs across the gambit of the Bordeaux varietals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yes. All right, so where are we? We are. So we're over here
Yeah,
in,
because we're in Napa, right?
yeah, we're in Napa. So we're in the northern wine growing latitude, right in the center.
Yeah.
Right over here on the West Coast. So. And within the US, we are dealing with the North Coast. So we're dealing with right up here.
Okay.
You can see, I mean, there may be some surprising, and which I do like this updated map.
Mm-hmm.
There's some surprising, you know, you got the Finger Lakes. and-
Finger Lakes.
We did.
Just wait till we bring that Missouri wine in.
Here's the Missouri one, which by the way, was the first.
It was the first appellation in the United States.
That's right. Number 2 was Napa. The first one was in Missouri.
So they have something they can hang their hat on there.
That's right. All right, so here we are in California. We're up here in the North Coast. And we are over here. So we're dealing with the mountainous region here, the Howell Mountain on this side, largely.
Okay.
There's a little bit from Diamond Mountain, but mostly Howell Mountain, and then hopping over to Knights Valley on the other side for a little bit of juice there. So it is a combination. And I was showing, you know, within Napa, here's Howell Mountain. This is the dominant producer for this blend. Mountainside grapes, you've got more wind, you have more and you have more UV radiation, right?
Okay.
So your higher elevation, it thickens the skins and gives you more of these tannins.
Okay.
Right? So, or flavor, more tannins. Napa Valley Vineyards, we'll just take a look. So I'm going to go through California at first because there's some really fun facts about California. We've done these, but they are worth repeating.
Okay.
An incredible variety of wine growing in there. Warm areas, cool areas, mountainous areas, flat areas.
Now, very cool area.
Right now, very cool areas, right? Multiple soil types. It is the number one in US. It is the number one consumer of wine by volume. The US is the number one consumer of wine by volume in the world.
Okay.
So the US drinks more.
We have a lot of stress.
Right. The US drinks more ounces of wine
Uh-huh.
than anyone else in the world. But we're also a huge country, right? The US is the number 4 producer of wine in the world.
Okay. All right.
But California is also by itself the number 4 producer of wine in the world.
By itself.
By itself.
Okay.
so-
So it's pretty much just.
So when you,
California producing.
right, when you take in Washington and Oregon, which makes really a significant amount, it doesn't change a thing.
Hmm.
California makes so much wine that the US is number 4 in the world and California is number 4 in the world.
Okay, so we're behind France.
Yes,
We're behind Italy.
yes.
Who else are we behind?
Um,
Australia?
France, Italy, Germany,
Germany. And then us.
and, oh wait, and
We're
Spain,
number. No, that would put us at number 5.
right? France, Italy, Germany.
Just 1, 2.
France, Italy, yeah, it should be
That's-
France, Italy, it should be France, Italy, Spain,
Okay,
then US,
Then
then
Germany.
Germany. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, because I mean, Germany's making mostly like Riesling, like sweeter ones, right?
Mostly Riesling, not
Mhm.
necessarily sweeter.
Okay.
We think of
Sorry,
them as
sorry,
sweeter.
sorry,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
dry Riesling. My brain goes automatically. to
But,
the
and that's
sweet
an,
Riesling.
it's standard, like that is what they presented to us here in this country,
Mhm,
which is why they're perceived that way.
okay,
But they also presented it because it was what they expected to sell. So it's,
I think they probably.
a
sold
give
more
and
than
take.
here, Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
so wineries in the US, the US had, in the US in 1998,
mhm.
we had about 2,200 wineries,
Oh, okay.
right? In 2019,
Mhm.
we had over 10,000. From 98 to
Wow,
2019, we grew that much.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So California wine industry started in 1769,
Okay,
right? And was predominantly Italian grapes. until
Oh, right. And then
Prohibition.
Right.
and they all had to rip them out. So when they came back in 1933, at that point, the demand for wine changed to French varietals because of World War I and then moving into World War II, a little bit of more world travel,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So
Well, world travel, and also wouldn't you also have maybe some bias against Italy since they were on the other side of the war?
I'm not saying.
I mean, I'm Italian, I can say
Mhm.
it.
Right. So starting in 1933, when they began planting again, it created a bias toward the French varietals,
Mhm.
because it was dominantly Italian before that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But we have some chat. Let me see. Yeah, exactly. Thank God
Right.
Prohibition was canceled, for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna cancel culture of that all day long.
Yeah, something to note too at the time was there were certain wineries that were still producing wine for communion wine.
Right, they were.
Yeah,
And they kept their Italian varietals because that's what was already planted.
sure.
And it had to be cheap
Mm-hmm.
because, the only game in town was communion wine.
Right,
So.
Right. yeah.
Negotiating did
Catholic
not.
Church was like, you are going to give us a good deal on
You're right,
this.
exactly. There's nowhere else it was going legally.
Right, yeah.
All right, so within Napa Valley,
Mhm.
a long dry growing season, which we've talked about before, right?
Right.
So when those grapes begin developing,
Mhm.
there's not a lot of rain, and that's good. So you want the rain before the growing season
Mhm.
and after the growing season.
Right.
So you can get you can have the grapes hang on the vine as long as possible to get as much character as possible before they're harvested. But they don't ripen too quickly. You have very warm, sunny days with a lot of sunlight,
Mhm.
but every evening, the valley cools off very quickly because of the fog from the west
Mhm.
and the cool air coming down from the mountains to the east. And it flows into the valley
Mhm.
and it cools everything down and stops the
stops the
ripening
ripening.
process
Yeah.
so that they don't ripen too quickly. So they can slowly ripen, gain character, and not become flooded with too much water when it comes time for harvesting.
So I do have a question. Where are we in their growing season right now?
This is pre-bud season,
Okay.
so should be,
all the snow that California is
Right.
getting.
should still be okay.
Okay.
They
Alright.
they have not budded yet, hopefully. And
Because they're
so,
getting more evidently in the next few days.
right. So this should still be okay. This should be
Okay.
lining up for very good vintage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Todd just says that's one way to get people into church. Yep, it's the only way you can drink. Come to
That's right.
church.
Come on.
I think I need a lot of communion wine.
I
It's
know.
so much this week.
Yeah, honestly, 2-cup minimum. Let's get
There
it.
you
there.
go. Next.
Yes. All right, Knights Valley. So hopping over the mountains into Sonoma,
Mhm.
Knights Valley, which is a little more lush, right? It's closer to the Pacific Ocean. They get more fog,
Mhm.
so you get more pines and that kind of a thing
Okay.
in there.
This is both Sonoma and Napa?
Yes, this one's got a
I
little bit of
missed- I
both.
missed
Not
Sonoma.
always. So
Okay.
they actually grab the grapes based on what the year presents.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it's all Napa
Mhm.
and they are based in Napa.
Mhm.
But in this year, they actually grabbed some Knights Valley.
So instead of saying, hey, this is our blend and this is what we do every year, and sometimes it doesn't taste the same, they want to keep a consistent flavor.
It's really more of they want a luscious, best flavor they can create. So they're not
Okay.
even creating the same flavor every year.
Mhm.
They're creating delicious every
Okay,
year is
okay.
kind of the point.
Okay,
Mhm.
next.
Yes. All right, so, and who's making this? So this is, I'm gonna jump forward and jump back.
You have more papers than you normally do.
I do,
Mhm.
right? So this is Gabriel Valenzuela, right?
Okay.
So he is the winemaker that's brought this all to life. We are dealing with a dominantly Napa Valley, Howell mountain fruit. So mountain fruit does give you more character and more tannins, because like I said, elevation equals more wind and more UV radiation, thicker skins, so more character and more tannins, right? Blended with smaller amounts of other Napa from other mountainous growing regions. So they have some from Diamond Mountain. So it's really kind of a fun exercise, and they grab the base juice from over in Knights Valley to get some valley juice,
Okay.
which valley juice is a little warmer, a little more gentle. So you're going to get a really good base for your wine, good amount of alcohol, good amount of good quality, very good quality. But then you get the real oomph comes from the mountain juice.
Okay.
And this is dominantly. So a lot of people will save a little bit of money and they will grab valley fruit and put a little bit of mountain juice. But this is the opposite of that.
Every time you say valley, I think totally for sure, like for all of you Gen Xers.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
They all know what I'm talking about.
So, so this wine project began in 2012. Basically, Gabriel describes it as they want to create a decadent blend, which I think they nailed, from the best grapes they can get. And they really, that's why they stay flexible. They're going to grab from different areas where they like what happened that year.
Okay.
Right.
When we say decadent, are we saying aggressive?
So you're going to want, and people could identify it differently. I would identify it, because I want to be happy, as not just big fruit, but also big spice and also big tannin.
Okay.
Like without the tannins, to me, without that big body and the grip, I'm not happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the tannins too.
And so the label, going back to
Okay.
that, so the X-ray label is dedicated to the origins of Napa Valley production, in which the winemakers they flew over to France or went over by ship and stole clippings from some of the best French vineyards. It is just putting that out there, right? So the bootleg part of it is literally, and this happened a
We
lot.
stole things.
We
from
went
France.
over there. They made amazing wine. They found them. They clipped, and they clipped a little bit off of each of the the vines, labeled them precisely, put them in their luggage, and flew home, and then began their own vineyards.
Do you have something to declare?
No, nothing to declare. Nothing at all. I was here for a carrot conference.
No, you weren't even near plants at
Yeah,
all.
right.
No.
That's fair.
You were there for networking.
So Gabriel was born in California, educated at Berkeley, which is very common, has been part of the wine industry his entire career and does a great job. So here's his quote. I think about Bootleg as the Jimi Hendrix version of the national anthem, unconstrained, but still incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And that version of the national anthem is fantastic.
It is fantastic.
Mhm.
So
Would you like for me to advance?
let's stop and talk a little bit now that I finish that.
Sounds good. Yeah, and I do appreciate the support, Taja. She gave me a totally.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Brah.
No, bra is later. That's
That's later.
surfer. That
That's
is
the
not
90s.
Valley Girl.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the spiel, everybody. What are you guys thinking? And I mean, we'll talk about a few more things, but
Right. Bruce, is it pairing well with everything on that plate?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I like it.
yeah.
I do too.
I can't complain. It's my third cup.
Yeah. Right.
Awesome.
Yeah. This wine to me is an easy win. It's not just delicious, it's powerful, right? So
Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, some of my questions, it's not so much about the wine, more of like the pairing, right? So when we're trying to pair wine, so like this is like Gouda, right? And
Right.
so this is smoked Gouda, I guess. But it's very dry. So it's like when I, you know, like when you eat it, it's kind of like, I feel like it's taking the spit out of my mouth.
No.
Is it good to pair? Because this to me feels kind of dry.
Right.
Like, you know, it'll kind of like dry you out a little bit. You know what I mean? So is it good to pair dry with dry, or is it like, is there another type of cheese that would probably go better when you're dealing with a drier?
The big thing is going to be the reaction of your palate, right? So when you have a cheese, like a sharp cheese, like a cheddar or a manchego, right? It makes you salivate.
Mhm.
And then, so you either want the wine to make you salivate or the cheese to make you salivate,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I will say a smoked Gouda, because of the earthiness and the chocolate and all that thing. I think it's kind of like a point counterpoint, because to me, the smoked Gouda is going to be a little creamy
Mhm.
and a little smoky. I think that'll work nicely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sometimes,
it's working with this one, you know, I don't mind it. It's just,
awesome.
For
There's
me,
one.
like I just, because cheese is my love language.
Mm.
After wine, obviously, but you can't say that as a therapist because that's not healthy. But I would agree with that. Like the drier cheeses, the smoked cheeses, especially, I don't love with my favorite wines like this. Like when you were saying, I love big juiciness and that's great, but it's got to have like the power behind it too. I was like doing like, yes, praise hands, because yes.
Mhm.
But so for me, I don't know. Sorry, I missed the beginning. Is it Bruce?
Yes.
Hey, do you like Gruyere cheese?
See, I'm new to this whole thing, so you just, I don't even,
It's like
you know, I'll buy something and try it.
It's like a creamier, but not like goat cheese creamy.
Oh no,
Um,
I think I call it something else. Well, what did you call it?
Gruyere.
I think I
I
had it
call
before on a plate, and
Gruyere.
it's kind of creamy, and it's like,
It's a
It's
white
soft.
cheese. It's not too soft. It's still like a solid cheese,
Well,
but
then it
that
isn't
to
that
me is
bad.
like the perfect pairing because it's not dry, not smoky, but flavorful.
mhm.
It's more blendable with different, like it doesn't overpower the wine, it just accompanies it very well. And so that's like a staple on our charcuterie trays, like what you're eating is the Gruyere for big wines.
Perfect.
So just something to think about, because I am not
I'm
a
gonna try it out.
fan, yeah, of like the drier, like I don't want the flavor of the cheese to overpower the flavor of my wine that I'm loving.
Yeah. hmm Yeah, because I just ran up to Publix real fast, and you know they got that little section of cheese.
Yeah,
So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, but there's so many. I'm like, I don't know what to do, you know.
yeah.
But
Right.
I watched the guy on YouTube that does this stuff, and he had smoked Gouda. So I was like, well, I'll just buy the smoked Gouda.
Yeah, no,
Call it
the
a day,
smoke
you know.
is just fine. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah.
Great, but
It's like,
Jeff, would you agree smokiness changes the flavor of wine? If you're eating a smoky food, does the smokiness flavor overpower?
I would say depends on how smoky that cheese is. And I will say generally with smoky cheese, I want it with Syrah because it has a smokiness in it as well. Or Gruyere is a little lighter. You can go with like a smoky, maybe Pinot Noir, but there's no bad pairing, right? There's only, to me, it's more like there's better pairings, but nothing like, if I'm having Gruyere with this, I'm not unhappy. It just might think, oh, this would be even better with Syrah, that kind of thing. So, but with this one, certainly like sharp cheeses and smooth cheeses, because there's that whole thing of with pairings, you either want to be complementary or contrary, right?
Yeah.
So that's the fun of it, is you're either adding to what you're already tasting or you're contrasting with it and building from that.
I love it.
And so just like whatever you like. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was waiting for you to say the thing you always say, like if it tastes good to you, then that's the right
it
pairing.
tastes good to
Like,
you.
Yeah.
Right. If you had some brie with a chocolate covered almond in this wine, I think it would be really good.
Mhm.
If you had
Wait, but I want to interrupt you just a moment with that. I feel like when I've had really soft cheeses like brie, it coats my palate.
mhm.
I don't feel the tannins. So it kind of depends what you like. If you like to feel the tannins, then
That's a good point. But like you say, optimally, I think because you're talking about the tannins interacting with fats across your palate.
Mhm.
So when you're dealing with that coating of your palate from a softer cheese,
Mhm.
you're going to get a couple of layers of effect, right? First, maybe the first bite, you're like, oh, the wine didn't make it through.
Mhm.
Second bite, they're interacting. Third bite, it's wine dominant, cheese minor, and you suddenly say, oh, wow, hello.
Okay.
right? So,
Loves the evolution of things too.
yeah,
so-
but it does, it
Yeah.
happens, right?
And then you say, well, hello.
Wine hello. So,
Okay, I miss Taji, you're gonna have to explain Bruce or Night Stalker. I totally, is that a nickname? Is that his nickname? He's turning
No.
around.
No. I play
He just choked on it.
I play a lot of video games, and so that's just like my game handle. And
Oh, okay.
so, you know, I like, you know, when you're live streaming,
Yeah.
it's just a setup. People
Okay.
kinda see it and
nice. All right.
yeah.
All right, yeah, no, I
Yes,
haven't mentioned that in my, because I teach school, so, and I teach online. So when I have my kids come in, I'm always like, okay, you cannot have gaming handles. I have to actually see your actual name when you come in. You can't be, you know, Night Stalker 1972 or whatever. It's, yeah.
That's right. That's why I appreciate it was Bruce.
Yeah,
right?
there you
All
go.
right. All right, so
Next,
let's go next.
all right.
He's next.
Yep.
All right, so ratings on this guy. So they are not holding back on this, right?
Mhm.
So we're dealing with ratings from 93, 92, 90. So everything that they're throwing out there is outstanding, but let's put it out there. When they do this, there tends to be a glut of wines up in the 90-point range because they have to pay to have them assessed. And so,
So they're not gonna submit them unless they think they're good enough.
unless they're good. But so it doesn't mean just because you see a lot of 90-point ratings that those aren't earned, right?
Right,
So-
it just means we're not submitting. I was gonna name something, but no, I'm not going to. We're not submitting low, things that would get a 75.
Right.
We're just not submitting.
They
them.
generally don't
We're
submit.
not gonna Pay for that, right?
So that, bearing that in mind, all right, so combine in your mind, did you enjoy it, A? And then B, did you enjoy it for what it was? This is a Napa Valley red blend. Napa Valley Sonoma, so high-end Californian red blend. Not crazy high-end, but you know, certainly above average by far. Did it make you happy? And then, was it good for the area in the region? And was it good for the price?
Right.
So, putting that together,
I don't know what the price was, and we can't mention it on the recording, so.
right,
I know, I think I know approximately. I think you told me before.
okay, good.
Right.
So keeping that all together, what do you guys think? Is it a very good wine? Is it an outstanding wine? Is it just a good wine? Is it a classic wine?
Okay, the way you hop around with the things, it
I think
really
you
is
can-
that person either go up or go down. Don't
I think
like,
for me, it's like when it comes to these wines, and it's kind of like the ratings, because someone was telling me about the ratings before. So you go inside there and you kind of pick one. I think that the rating could be good if you like that type of wine. I think, you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that it's a terrible wine and it isn't good. It's just, okay, you know, you go inside and you're like, what is this wine? What was this? What was the score on this one?
oh, we had a 93 and a 91 from the like official, I don't
Right.
remember who gave what, but
Right.
the like wine tasters, professional wine
Right.
tasters.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could be a 91 and you're like, okay, cool, it must be a good wine. But then you get it home and you're like, well, how come I don't like it? You just might not be a red blend type of person. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I think that's where I made a lot of mistakes whenever I started just started getting into wine. I'm pulling anything off the shelf that it's either, okay, this is $50, so it must be good. And you get it home, you're like, oh Lord, this is not what I thought it was. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I think that the wine is good. I just don't know that if I'm that if I like red blends as much as I like a Cab Franc, you know what I'm saying? I think that's like the wine. Like if I have one, it can be nasty, but it's still good. It's like there's something about it, it's like I just like that great, you know.
Right.
So I think that you know, you just have to know what that you like. But I think the wine is good. It's not a bad wine. I mean, I drink it, you know.
And I think the thing that we've talked about is, and what Bruce is saying is, it is a very, very subjective thing,
Right.
because it's based on what you like.
Yeah.
So it's very hard, like for me, white wines aren't my thing.
Right.
So I have to kind of like separate myself from it. Is it good for what is it is supposed to be? So that's how we do our ratings. But wine is an art form, just like painting or photography or music or things like that. So it is very, very subjective.
Right.
Yeah, and you're right. Maybe it isn't your cup of tea.
Right.
But yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
and it doesn't mean that it's nasty, you know, because I actually think
Right.
it's very good.
You
know?
notice nasty was not on the list at
Yeah.
all, but we can put one on there,
that's
nasty.
right.
Yeah.
15. That's nasty.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
But yeah, that is an important differentiator, right? It's like, okay, so limiting, it's like almost taking into account if we're drinking, like you say, if you're a red wine drinker and you're drinking white wine, limit the floor of where you're going to go,
Right.
based on, was it well made, was it well received, did it represent well for its region,
Right.
So that you don't just say, I don't like these, because that's one of the things, like even in the beer world, we'll have people and we'll look at these ratings as on the IPA side, let's say, and somebody will write 1 star out of 5.
Okay, so that would be me on IPAs.
1 star out of 5. I don't like IPAs. Why did you drink it?
That's why I don't drink them.
Right.
Yeah. Don't drink it.
So, and I was like, that's not fair to give that IPA a 1 star, because those of us that know
Right.
what IPA should taste like can say, oh, actually, that was a well-made, solidly made IPA. So you just beware of that moment, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
No, that is true. Okay, yeah, that is true. Let me catch up with the chat here.
All right, let's see.
Julia 94. Brian also said a 94. Brian, you would not have said that 3 years ago.
Well, you know what? You know, he's
Yeah,
even better
so-
looking now than he was 3 years ago.
He wouldn't
Yeah.
even have drank this 3 years ago. He would have been like, oh, you're so bougie, gross. bleh."
And I have a quick story. I know it's off topic, but those photos I was sending you with my mom with those sweet wines, I took 1 sip of the sweet wine. I said, Mom, I can't drink this. I drink better wine now. So yeah.
Old dogs can learn new tricks.
That's right. Like, I still love your mom. She's a lovely lady, but you know,
But her taste in wine is a little.
that's just,
Yeah.
It's not wine. We don't even call it wine. Her taste in fermented juices is not allowed here.
It's a gateway wine, Julie. You drink what you like, and maybe you get, into better ones.
If she's
Okay,
not drinking
so
better
Dave
wine,
said a
vice versa.
90, John a 92, Linda and Brendan a 93, Laura a 94. Wow, so we've got graduated
I
there.
like it.
Rachel a 94. And then, yep, I agree, Rachel. 89 from Tasha. Strong, it is strong.
It is strong.
It is strong. I'm on. I really like this. Very, very good for the price from Dr. Fricker. Are we saying Boone's?
Boone's, yeah, Boone's Farm
not
at Dr.
Bones
Fricker.
Farm. I like
Boone's Farm.
It's fair.
No,
We know what you said.
Okay, they can be categorized as nasty after the age of 20. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. Yes, and in a restaurant, easily $100 bottle, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
No, you're totally right, Dr. Fricker. This-
Restaurant prices are usually
Well,
double
they're
what we,
a little over.
a
Yeah.
little over
Yeah, a
double
little
what
over,
we,
yeah.
what retail is, so.
So you're right. For in a restaurant, this would be $100-ish bottle,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Not nearly that at our store. We're retail, so.
No,
But
I wish we could charge those prices.
But I'm glad we can share them with you guys at these
Yeah.
prices, so.
Absolutely. Sure.
Sure, all right, fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. All right, excellent. Yes, let's talk about
Okay, the next week,
sources.
sources, and then next week.
That's right. All right, so thank you to winefolly.com, 750.com, wikipedia.com, wine.com, and Sonoma County, along with
You did.
Bootleg wine as well.
Okay.
Yep.
And whoever did the Family Guy,
And and Family Guy.
just
I
Family
think
Guy.
you thank the Family Guy.
It's Family Guy, not
Yeah.
whoever posted
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right.
So
And next week,
next week, we are going to
we have to do
race-
something to entice the Dial Smiths back. They have
race
abandoned us.
across the world to
Okay,
go to a brand new location.
brand new.
No, or maybe the same winemaker.
Okay.
All right, go for it. So we're doing the Bootleg prequel.
Ooh, I like that.
So
label
this
too.
is cool though.
Okay.
Hopping over the mountains.
Mhm.
This is their Sonoma only. This is Syrah Petite Syrah.
Oh.
Yes.
okay.
Wine ratings, Jeb Tonic 90,
Mhm,
big, bold. Really, I like his wines.
mhm.
I like this wine a lot too.
Okay.
This one, I actually just popped open this week. So food pairings, lamb and mushroom risotto, savory Brussels sprouts, mushroom and blue cheese, brunch pie.
What is brunch?
What's a
So
brunch
it's
pie?
savory Brussels sprout, mushroom and blue cheese brunch pie.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right. And Jeff, that's weird. Did you get the link to the recipe? Yes, I did.
Where is it?
It's the next slide and we can share it with you guys if anyone wants it.
Okay. So
So-
if anyone wants this, let us know. I'll minimize it. I'll copy and
See,
paste it
I've been listening.
into the chat box.
That's right. I listen and I improve.
Yeah, okay.
Go back up if you would, because
Alright.
I didn't do all the food pairings.
Okay, hold on. It's not.
There we go. Okay.
Ah, there we go.
All right. And anyway, grilled eggplant, steak, any of the cuts. It's going to work well. Steak,
Okay.
Right. So
Any cut.
any cut
Cool.
you can do. So, but this is
Wait, you said it's Petite Syrah? and-
Syrah Petite Syrah,
Syrah Petite Syrah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
which will be fun to talk about the differences between those grapes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So anyway, that is what we're going to drink.
Because if I remember
Sure.
correctly, Petite Syrah is a bigger, bolder grape than Syrah is.
Yes.
Okay. Ha,
So that is the fun of this wine and next week's wine.
cool.
So you said it's a, what type of, it says red blend, but you called it a Pete Syrah?
It's the two grapes that are in the blend are Syrah and Petite Syrah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Inkblot has a petite Syrah, right?
Yes, Inkblot does have a Petite Syrah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one's all Petite Syrah. So this one is a blend of Syrah and Petite Syrah. And then the next question would be, are they related? And that answer will be next week.
Okay, so we will, well, before we stop the recording, are there any questions, any more comments, any wonderings, noticings, anything?
I had a good time.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna be good by the smell, like that, like before I even took a sip,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
beautiful that it jumps right out of the glass.
I
It
feel like
doesn't
you're
make you
getting the
search for it.
lavender on it now.
Yeah, it
That's
is. It has opened up. There's cedar and lavender
Mhm.
going on with chocolate.
Mhm.
I
in
can
there.
definitely smell the
So
cedar.
it just needed. I mean, it's a big wine. It needs a minute. Next week's wine will need a minute as well. Pop it open, give it a minute to breathe. This is really giving us much more now than it was at the beginning.
Mhm.
So.
Can you, is there like, well, you put in what like meal to eat with it, but as far as just like, like meat and cheeses, like, is there anything,
And like, there's nothing off the table, right?
So
So
just buy some stuff, huh?
if you grab them, you're going to like some of them more than others, but none of them will taste bad. And that's the big thing with it, is just play with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like to like draw strong lines and, it's like, oh no, I mean, I will say apples probably not going to be great, right? And oranges, not so much, but chocolates, meats and cheeses, you're really not going to go that far wrong.
Yeah. Cause Jake's always like, eat a steak with this or eat something with this. And it's like, every time I'm trying to eat like a steak with, I don't care what type of wine I have, it's almost like it ruins the wine for me. Maybe like it makes it too peppery. It burns my tongue. Like every time that I'm trying to eat a steak with wine, I have no idea why. It just doesn't, but if I'm just eating crackers and cheese, it's delightful. It's perfect,
Okay, so Bruce,
I'm not
you
sure.
stay with just the crackers and cheese. Don't eat the steak next week.
Yeah.
That's right. You go with it.
Yeah, I mean, because there's something interacting on his palate that is
Sure. It's
ruining
just not
wine for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I say, cheeses, nuts, some charcuterie meats, if you can lean toward the beef side, you should be happy. Should work out. Next week, you can do more pork though. Pork will work even better next week than it did this week.
Okay.
So pork with Syrah and
Mhm.
Petit Syrah works a little bit better than Cab and Merlot. So.
Okay.
Mhm.
And we do want to mention, I don't know if you want to do it on the recording or after, but there's an in-person tasting on Sunday.
Oh, we'll do it afterward.
Okay,
That sounds good.
all right.
All right,
Okay.
we'll do a toast. Thank you guys for joining
Cheers,
us. We'll stop the recording and then we will
Thank you for coming.
start 4-letter words.
Yep, exactly.